here again, and I'd like to welcome you to our Thrifty Survivor YouTube channel. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. I think you can see the flame going here. It's a little bit big. I think I overfilled the alcohol burning stove, but no big deal. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to make petroleum jelly soaked fire tinder. Now we used it in one of our earlier videos, and I don't, excuse me, Carolina Reaper starting to come back up here, so pardon me for that. Anyway, what we're going to do is show you how to make this. And first off, we start with cotton balls, but before we do that, we got to melt some petroleum jelly. And the way we do that is with a double boiler system. Basically, this is full of water. Now, I did somewhat preheat the water because we're using an alcohol burning stove because the lady of the house didn't want us using the stove. She doesn't want y'all seeing the kitchen. So anyway, so we're going to do it this way today. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the petroleum jelly in here, stick it in the boiling water, melt it, and it's really a pretty simple process. Then I'll just take these, soak the cotton balls in there, and then set them on this aluminum foil. And once they dry, basically they don't dry, but once they cool off, then you can stick that in a jar or just some kind of container. Some people will just put them in a Ziploc bag, and you can carry that around with you. And like I said, any spark will ignite that, and it burns for a good amount of time. So here goes. I'm going to take you from the very beginning while the flame's burning. I'm going to go ahead and get the water on here and get that boiling. Now, the water doesn't really have to be boiling, but the hotter the better. So here goes. And I think I'd have been better off if I'd have grabbed a teaspoon, because getting this out of there, I don't know if y'all can see what I'm doing here, but it can be a little bit messy. Now I've already emptied out a good portion of that to make some other petroleum jelly soaked cotton balls. And this would be the third time I've done this out of one pot. So it's really cost effective. And with what we're making today, I'm going to say you could probably start 40 or 50 fires with it. So you're looking at probably being able to start about 150 fires out of a single pot of petroleum jelly. If you do, if you go through this process. So pardon me for this rather boring part here. And I'm going to go ahead and just, yep, it's still going. Now, one handy tool is these are actually designed for
canning.
For canning. Thank you, John. And they're real handy for grabbing the pot and sticking it in the boiling water without burning yourself. Also for pulling it out. Because what I'm going to do when this is melted is I'm going to pull the pot out, set it on my little coaster, and then from there, in fact, I'll set the coaster on the aluminum foil so that there's no drip on the tablecloth. Anyway, all right, folks, I'm not going to bore you all with taking the amount of time or putting you through the amount of time that it takes to melt the petroleum jelly. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to cut it off and then come back when it's pretty much melted, and we'll take it from there. So we'll see you in a little bit. All right, folks, we're back. It's actually pretty much melted. So let's go ahead and get the rest of this show on the road. I don't think it's going to be another one of our 20 or 30 minute videos, okay? But basically all I do, and I don't know whether or not we should show, I don't know if you want to move the camera or not. Just trust me, the petroleum jelly is melted, and basically just use some needle nose pliers or something where it's easy to grab the cotton balls. Get up here. Actually, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it easier to not have a mess, and you'll be able to see this better this way. Now, are they able to see this over here? with the camera the way it's set up? Okay. You can see.
You want to turn that fire out?
I'm going to keep it boiling just in case we have to heat it up again.
Okay.
But all you do, just dip it in there. Try to drip off as much excess as you can. And set it aside. There's one. And as you can see, we're going to get quite a few of these cotton balls soaked here. I'm going to go ahead and... Why am I doing this the hard way? Because that's just the way I am. Okay. Now some people will actually, rather than melting the petroleum jelly like this, is they'll just take a cotton ball and dip some of that petroleum jelly out there and kind of massage it in there. Well, this just works a whole lot better. I don't think you waste as much.
I've tried that method and it stinks.
Okay, take John's word for it. So, I mean, I've actually seen some big YouTubers do that. You know, some channels that many of you are probably familiar with, and that's the method that some of them have used. But I've also seen some of them later on come back and say, we found a better way. And this is it. So now obviously if you don't have the ability to do a double boiler type of system, you can use that other method, and it does work, but it's messy. And I mean, not that this isn't messy, but I'm doing this on a tablecloth and it ain't gonna soak through. That's what the tin foil here is for. You don't necessarily need tin foil, but you know, you want to make sure you have something to set these on. They are hot, but in all honesty, even if it was a plastic liner of some sort, I don't think it would melt it. You know, because it's not any warmer than boiling water. So I don't think I'll have to boil this again, but I'm going to go ahead and let that water boil just in case. It ain't hurting nothing. So
Can I take a pause?
no. You guys don't mind watching this, do you? Now, my head's probably out of the shot here, so I'm going to sit down. Actually, you probably would prefer if I was standing up. But I'm going to torture you by making you watch my face here. So, all right. Now, to be really honest with you, I can let these drip out a little bit more and get more out of this. But just for the sake of time, I'm not going to, you know, shake this off real much. Yeah. Because, you know, they just don't need to be completely, well, I'm not going to say completely soaked, but you don't need a really high concentration of this in the cotton balls for them to burn well. The thing is, though, the more petroleum jelly you have in the cotton balls, the longer they'll burn. Anyway, we're getting to the end here. Now, what I would recommend if you're going to do this is don't use your wife's you know, finest utensils to melt this in, because about the only way to get rid of the petroleum jelly is to melt it out. You can keep wiping it out and there's always going to be some residue. These are just canning jars that I picked up at Walmart. I got a set of 4 of them for, I don't know, it might have been, I don't think it was more than like $5 or $6. They're not that expensive, and I just use them for this. You know, that's what I use them for. And of course, if you do canning, you got some extras. But just any jar will work just fine, as long as it's, you know, a size that's appropriate. I like to have a jar that's kind of deep, because with less petroleum jelly, it's still deep enough to, you know, to still submerge your cotton balls. Now, one of these cotton balls, if you were to light it, would probably burn, I would say, easily for 10 minutes. And to start a fire, what I usually do is I will just grab a pinch off of one cotton ball and kind of put that on a stick, wrap it around a stick, and get that stick lit with my ferro rod, or whether you use a lighter or a ferro rod, or it doesn't really matter, but whatever you use to ignite it, and it'll once it flames up, then I take that stick and stick it in my, whether it's a wood burning stove or in the fire. And it's kind of like a torch. You see those horror movies where they're walking around with a torch? It kind of does the same thing with that stick. And you can just put that flame anywhere. Boy. Yeah, John and I both shared a little bit of that Carolina Reaper that I had in that little aluminum container that I showed you all, I guess it was a few videos ago. Anyway, so it's starting to come back up a little bit. Every now and then I might, cough, and that'll be why. But anyway, I think it's going to be about it on these cotton balls. I'm just going to try to get every last bit of it out of here. Now, once these cool off, I would probably leave these at least for about 30 minutes. And then if you don't want your fingers to get greasy, you might even use the same needle nose pliers to put them in a container, whether it's, like I said, it could be a Ziploc bag. I might throw these right back into the same bag that I pulled them out of. What I actually like to use is pellet tins. If you're into pellet guns, you'll know what I'm talking about. Basically, your pellets, sometimes they'll come in a screw top lid. I like the screw top better. Yeah, John's going to grab one for me. And yeah, there we go. Anyway, these are perfect. This came with pellets. I use them. Anyway, screw top lid, put the cotton balls in there. You could actually use this as a stove itself, actually, because it's metal. And you can do a similar thing like what the alcohol stove is doing now. You put one of those cotton balls in there, and like I said, it'll burn for roughly 10 minutes. If you need more, you can put more of those in there. But it's the way I store them. I've never used this as a stove, but you can. It's just my technique. Well, yeah, here. You can store them in something like this, just a prescription drug container. It doesn't really matter. Just whatever you like to store things in, something that will fit in your, whether it's a backpack or your fanny pack, whatever. And that's what I like about this. There's so many ways you can store it, and it's so effective. You don't have to purchase these things that they sell online, for tinder. I mean, in my opinion, this works just as well as anything else. And yeah, it takes a little bit, a little bit of effort to make it, but I don't think y'all found this to be too complicated. Anyway, John, unless there's anything else you could think of,
I'd like to see one burn.
well, okay, we're going to cut this off for now, and then I'll come back and we'll go ahead and torch one of these for you. All right? All right, guys, here I am again, and I'm going to go ahead and show you. Actually, I thought about this while the camera wasn't running. Why not just go ahead and use the tin, since I told you that you can use the tin as a stove. We're going to go ahead and light this up. I don't know if I went out of screen there, but we're going to go ahead and light this up. And I'm not going to use a ferro rod, and the reason for that is the sparks will actually burn holes in the tablecloth, and I don't want to do that. But you can do it with a ferro rod, and trust me, just one or two spark hit that and it lights up. Okay, so here goes. We ought to be able to get this lit now. There we are. And I think you can see that. Now this is, again, it's that pellet tin that I showed you earlier. Normally for me, this is how I store them. I could probably, I might be able to even stuff all those cotton balls in there. But Now I don't know if you want to show them how long it'll burn because it'll make the video too long. But by now, if you had that in your fire tinder, your fire would be going. Okay, and it hasn't even hardly started. You know, this will just burn for a really, really long time. So I just wanted to show you that. And like I said, you could actually use this as a makeshift stove if you don't have anything else. You can also use it for your wood burning stove just to start the fire, which is personally what I would do. You can start just a regular campfire this way as well. Particularly if you're having trouble finding dry wood. You know, it's going to take more than just one match to get that wood to burn. Well, this will burn for long enough, even if the wood is somewhat soaked. I mean, there are limits to everything, but this will get it going. So anyway, so I think we're going to call that a wrap. And again, I want to thank you all for watching. And if you like what we showed you here today, please give us a big thumbs up, share, and please leave comments below. We respond to every single comment. At least we have been able to so far. So please leave comments. And if you'd like to help support our channel, please visit us at thriftysurvivor.com. We've got a website there. We've got plenty of things you might want to take a look at. It's our Amazon affiliate site, and they give us a small commission for any purchases that are made off of that. So again, if you'd like to support the channel, feel free to do that. Again, I want to thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye for now. Oh, sorry, John. Hit you right in the forehead. Oh!
You're gross.
What? You don't like that stuff? Man, I eat it all the time.
You were raised by Sasquatches, obviously.
That's right. Hello, Eric here again, and I'd like to welcome you folks to our Thrifty Survivor. Hello, Eric here again with no. Hello, Eric here again, and I'd like to welcome you once again to our Thrifty Survivor YouTube. It's a mouth. It's a mouthful. Yeah. Yeah. Let's do some rap. That's what we ought to do. We ought to do this to rap. Hello, Eric here again with Thrifty. No. Hello, Eric here again, and I'd like to welcome you to our Thrifty Survivor YouTube. It didn't come out right. Once I get past that part, it's easier.